A diary containing information of the West African migrants was falsified under Usman Sonko's instruction, according to a witness. Over a dozen more Gambian migrants repatriated from Germany, and the Barra government is blamed for the move. The Gambia Moral Congress party leader calls for negotiations to solve the constitutional dilemma. These and more coming on Gambia24. Stay with us. Good evening, I am Sohna Tunkara and this is Gambia24. Now to our news in detail. As the Gambia's Truth Commission continues to uphold the truth regarding the alleged massacre of the migrants in July 2005, Babakar Ba, the then deputy station officer of the Barra police station, says the diary containing the information of the West African migrants was falsified under ex-IGP Usman Sonko's instructions in an effort to cover up the killings of the migrants.
Appearing before the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, Babakar Ba was the station officer of Barra at the time the West African migrants were apprehended at Barra. He testifies on the missing diary from Barra police station. Bah tells the Truth Commission that the then IGP Sonko instructed him to falsify records in the police diary, so there will be no trace of the West African migrants.
Give it to me. Murutikam diary. Said to me, go and change this diary. Diary. What you have to do is Matako. Transfer all the entries in this diary. Diary. Sotina dume odo diary keso. A new diary. Mbada dume diary keso. Am I understood? Family. I kept quiet.
Did he ask you to do anything else apart from transfer everything into the new diary?
Except our activities concern these migrants. So he said I should except our activities concern these migrants.
Did you understand what he was asking you to do?
Very well.
What was it he was telling you to do?
Just to cover up.
Cover up what?
What happened to these migrants?
After the migrants were apprehended from the shores of Barra, they were detained at the naval headquarters. The witness says that the migrants were tortured by uniformed officers in the presence of the service chiefs.
And then?
Then I said to Bamba, I was standing with Bamba. I said to Bamba, what did you tell these authorities? What did you tell them?
I was
what is going on? He said, I'm going to surprise that. And I'm surprised. Then suddenly, I don't know, somebody went to talk to someone. I don't know whether he's a military officer. And then he came back. You get up, all of you, get up. Then Tumbul Tamba appeared. The hose pipe. Two other plainclothes officers. I don't know uniform. But I used to see them. I know they work with Tumbul Tamba. You are beating them, kicking. Stamping on them, slapping them. Treating them like animals.
Mr. Bah adds that he got to know about the massacre from an NIA officer, Bamba Mane, who informed him that the migrants were murdered by the military.
He said to me,
We come be wari be yimbe foru.
Did he say who killed who?
No, hala no mako hombo wari hombo. He said they have killed all these people.
We come be yimbe wari be nanga be fof.
Did he say who killed?
I said no, hala no mako hombo wari that. He said the soldiers.
Gambia's former Interior Minister Usman Sonko has been imprisoned in Switzerland for more than 2 years. A number of witnesses before the Truth Commission have implicated him in a number of crimes. Among them is torture, murder, sex slavery, and the massacre of the West African migrants. Reporting for iAfrican News, I am Khadija Seka.
Boubacar Ba, a witness who appeared before the Truth Commission, says the diary containing information of West African migrants was tampered with under the instruction of Usman Sonko. Now, the expanding program on immunization of the Ministry of Health will on Monday, 8th of March, start a nationwide vaccination campaign against cervical cancer. More than 95% of cervical cancer cases globally is due to infections with human papillomavirus. Ndaisise tells us more in this report.
The Gambia has introduced a vaccine to fight cervical cancer known as papillomavirus among girls and women. Cervical cancer is the most common cancer among Gambian women, and most women diagnosed with cancer report led to hospital, which have increased mortality. The expanding program on immunization of the Gambia's Ministry of Health is raising awareness on its upcoming nationwide cervical cancer vaccination campaign in the country. Speaking at a press conference on Wednesday, the program manager of the expanding program on immunization, Sidat Fofana, encourages the public to take the vaccination, especially young girls who are not exposed to sexual activities.
To protect our population is by vaccination. Whatever type of vaccination, and we should come and embrace it. So this little information we are going to give you, use it, try to convince the population. There are people, whatever we do, they're just negative. If people are negative to their creator, who are we? They must be negative to us. So, but if we put down the positive things, I mean, the wise ones will definitely come up to take up the vaccine, and they will ask questions, and they will act positively. That way, we will be able to protect.
The human papillomavirus vaccine is said to be 95% effective against cervical cancer. Bakari Tijan of the World Health Organization described the vaccination program as a good opportunity for the Gambia to fight against cervical cancer.
This is in accordance with the WHO mandate to support guidance of country member states to ensure that basic issues are addressed, basic problems are addressed, basic solutions are addressed with regards to hepatitis. We develop strategies called primary, secondary, and tertiary strategies. One of the primary strategies is health promotion to ensure that people are aware of the risks involved. And secondary, tertiary screening and providing screening services and prevention of the cervical cancer before it reaches the other level. The third level is the tertiary level, which is very expensive, and most of us, particularly in poor countries, cannot afford, which is radiotherapy through radiologists and through radio screening, which is very expensive, and in most cases we don't even have it in most countries. Even if you have it, you don't have experts to run it. So it is an issue. So therefore, this is a very good opportunity for us. WHO has drawn a lot of reviews regarding cervical cancer issues. So to tell the public very clearly that this is very safe, it has no problem, it has no effect. There is no drug without side effects.
There are misconceptions with regards to the cervical cancer vaccination program and that of COVID-19 vaccinations, but the Deputy Director of Health Promotion, Sanjali Trawale, clarifies that the vaccinations that should take place in schools are for cervical cancer and not COVID-19.
There are so many rumors. People are saying COVID vaccine has already arrived and they want to introduce the vaccine into the school. That is not the case. COVID-19 came in yesterday. But this one has been ongoing since, as I said, since 2014. So it's not the same vaccine. And even for COVID vaccine, we are saying it's very safe and effective, and people should be ready to take in the vaccine.
Cervical cancer is a preventable disease and it affects too many women in the African region. There is an urgent need to integrate cancer control programs into existing primary sexual and reproductive health care services, strengthen multi-sectoral collaboration, and improve public health awareness in order to tackle this devastating disease. The vaccine has been rolled out nationally since 2019, targeting girls in grade 3. And dropouts aged 9 to 14 are also encouraged to visit schools for vaccination starting 8th of March 2021. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am DCC.
From that, a Dutch flight believed to be carrying Gambian deportees reportedly landed at the Banjul International Airport in the early hours of Thursday. The flight, according to sources, came from Germany and reportedly carrying about 20 repatriated migrants. And many Gambians, both at home and abroad, raised concerns over the mass deportation the country is experiencing under the Barrow-led administration. Our reporter Binta Jallo was there and she now files in this report.
The airline, operated by Corendon, left Frankfurt at 11 p.m. on Wednesday, reaching Banjul by 2:30 a.m., according to iAfrica aviation sources. This comes at a time when the country is battling with the COVID-19 pandemic. Many Gambians, both at home and abroad, raised concerns over the mass deportation. However, the Gambia government recently tried to keep its head above waters following the accusation that it has signed deals with the German government and other European countries that covers the deportation of African migrants from Europe. Yankuba Sonko, a member of many refugees associations and NGOs in Germany, said the deportation process has been going on since they lifted the moratorium when the current government took office.
Between German and Gambia government, there were a lot of individual deportations when immediately when they lift up the moratorium. Then last year, German started the mass deportation, which was on the 18th of November, they deported 22 Gambians from Germany to the Gambia. Again, they went further to request another which we were aware and we got all these facts. These are all what I am saying are based on facts, not fictions.
Sonko went further to blame the government and accused them of playing games with Gambians.
Again, in December 22nd, this last December, German wanted to do another mass deportation, which they requested from the Gambia government. But remember, that was the time the president and the whole entire ministers were doing the Meet the People tour, So due to that, we have these facts from our sources that Gambia government rejected that or play some tactics to delay that deportation of December because they give only an excuse that president was not in State House. And again, the German government went further that they still have their objective, that is to deport Gambians, Gambians asylum seekers here. So means there is a secrecy between them and Gambia government not to give such information till the deportees arrive in Gambia. So we know from the deportees themselves, because we are in contact with them previous to their departure. Like when they are in deportation prisons, we are in contact. I personally, as the PRO of Gambia Refugee Association, I'm in contact with most of these deportees in their individual prisons. So they inform us, like they can tell you in this prison there is this number of Gambians. So putting them together, we get a figure of 25, but this is not confirmed by the both authorities.
Overall, Germany intends to deport at least 4,000 Gambians whose asylum claims were rejected. In the German region of Baden-Württemberg alone, there are over 15,000 registered Gambian asylum seekers, of whom at least 4,000 have been rejected. Reporting for iAfrica TV, Binta Jallo.
From the report by Binta Jallo, moving back to matters of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, Lamin Cham, a CID commanding officer at the Brikama police station, has on Thursday testified before the commission concerning the police diary he kept under his custody and the torture of Eric Jawo, which took place at the police headquarters in Banjul. Officer Cham's testimony comes following the presentation of the said diary by the Inspector General of Police, Mahmoud Job, bearing the records of the West African migrants in July 2005. And according to Cham, he kept the diary for safety reasons and to avoid being falsified by the state. Khadija Seka reports.
The witness Lamin Cham told the commission that he personally kept the police diary in his custody. He said the reason he kept it was to protect himself, avoid the state from tampering with it, and not be incriminated on the alleged massacre of the West African migrants.
The first reason why I kept the diary was for my own security. The other reason why I kept the diary was because of the fact that the state was bent in covering up all trace about the migrants. And I have seen diaries exhibited. So when this one was full, as I am the custodian, I kept it at home.
The witness added that he believes Eric Yah was tortured as they wanted him to confess that he was among the West African migrants apprehended from the shores of Barra.
I did not dispute the fact, because I knew these migrants had done a lot of things. Probably they wanted him because Lamin Tunkara was received to the NIA. Probably they wanted Eric to confirm to them that he's part of the migrants. And that might warranted the torture. That's why I didn't dispute it.
To cover up the alleged crimes, Cham believed that police diaries of Bursubi, Fatoto and Bara were kept hidden in the office of the then Crime Management Coordinator Sanyang, under the instructions of the then Inspector General of Police Usman Sonko. Reporting for Africa News, I am Khadija Seka.
From the report by Khadija Seka, we go with a short commercial break. The news continues shortly after it. Do stay with us.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back. You're still watching Gambia24, and to the rest of our stories. Mai Ahmad Fati calls on politicians to have the country at heart and put differences aside for the progress of the nation. He says it is always challenging for politicians to reach consensus on issues, but his party is willing to participate in the constitutional talks until the last dot. Omar Toure has the rest of that story.
Mai Ahmad Fati, the GMC leader, says his party is willing to re-engage in negotiations after the constitutional talks in Abuja ended in a deadlock.
For us, GMC, our priority is, how do we change this country? How do we transform this country? What do we need to do as a people? And that is why we are always willing to negotiate. And that is why we are always willing to collaborate. And that is why we are always willing to consult. GMC has always consulted, but we have never shied away from speaking our mind, even if it provokes controversy.
Honorable Fati says people need to reason together and reconsider values as the country is undergoing a test of democracy. He says politicians should see similar directions and endeavor to end this crisis.
I am not claiming that I have solutions. What I am breaking the moral conscience of the state, of the nation, for us to recalibrate and rethink where we are going as a people. What have you lost our values and why? Why are we where we are today? Why is it that it is very difficult to get 1, 2, or 3 political leaders to agree on anything at all? To agree on anything. Why is it so difficult?
The GMC leader believes the constitution does not feed or provide employment for citizens, but because of Gambia's interest, his party has to participate to rescue the country from the grip of the 1997 constitution.
Our politics is so negative and is so overheated. But because we are willing to compromise in the interest of the country, and that is why we have participated in the constitutional talks. From day one, right down to this moment, we are in the middle of it. Why? Because we believe that 1997 constitution is quite a good one. It's a very good constitution. In fact, at the time it was promulgated, it was one of the best. 1997 constitution is a very good constitution, but it has been bastardized.
Gambia's constitutional talks in Abuja, Nigeria, brokered by Goodluck Jonathan, failed after 7 political parties that participated could not reach consensus on whether President Barrow's current term should be counted as his first term. This came after the draft constitution was voted down in the National Assembly last year. For iAfrica TV, I am Omar Ahmad Toure.
Slight rift continues between Gambia's political parties as the country will head to the polls in December 2021. Now, the Food and Agriculture Organization, in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, has on Thursday validated the National Cooperative Policy 2020-2030. This is first national cooperative policy geared towards economic growth, as well as to ensure that cooperative policy are effective through the support of the government. Daisy files in this report.
The first ever national cooperative policy is expected to address the challenges in the country's cooperative services, as well as to promote good governance and facilitate cooperative development. There are many forms of cooperatives in other parts of the world, but in the Gambia, there are only 2 called the Financial Cooperative and Agricultural Cooperative. However, a member of the task force committee that drafted the national policy, Babukar Ojuv, explains why there is a need for cooperative policy in the Gambia.
Colonial days, we were handed an act, a cooperative act, to serve as our law. But we did not have a policy. A policy guides government in terms of how it operates in a particular sector of the economy. Now, this policy is intended to guide the cooperative movement.
The FAO country representative, Moshibudu Rampidi, acknowledged that cooperative movements deserve support from the government to help its members. Rampidi assured that the European Union's support to the Gambia will go beyond the national cooperative policy validated.
Support of the European Union has really made a difference for the agriculture sector. It has made it possible for the FAO to give policy and technical support and join government in the fight against food insecurity. I therefore want to really take this opportunity and share with you that the EU support goes beyond the policy that we are going to consider today.
The Minister of Agriculture, Ami Fabre, says the agricultural and cooperative sector in the Gambia over the years suffered major setbacks under the regime of the Second Republic. She says her ministry will address the sufferance and setbacks the sectors had to go through.
Hence, reducing the functions of cooperatives into a service unit under the Department of Agriculture. My ministry found it relevant to salvage and change the tides for the better. And I want to assure you that as far as we are in the office, the cooperative societies and the cooperative in general will change.
The overall objective of this national cooperative policy is to harness the cooperative's potential to contribute to sustainable growth in the Gambian economy and reduce food insecurity, malnutrition, and migration flows. The policy is also meant to guide all the credit unions, farmers, those related to farming and production of food. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Daisy.
From the reports by Ndai Cisse, we now wrap up Gambia24. You can continue watching our programs. Once again, I'm Sohna Tunkara. Thanks for watching and good evening.
The Gambia may be the smallest country in Africa, but it will host the second largest gathering of world leaders in 2022. To successfully host the OIC Summit and put the Gambia on the global stage, the government of the Gambia set up OIC Gambia to mobilize resources for the implementation of key development and infrastructure projects on a scale never seen before. 20 new roads will be constructed across the country, and the Bertel-Harding Highway will be expanded into a dual-carriage highway of 2 lanes on each side from the airport to Sting Corner. All people in the Gambia deserve clean water and a constant flow of electricity. Therefore, an entirely new water system will be constructed, including new transmission and distribution networks to meet the increasing demand. In order to provide a more reliable supply of electricity, the OIC Gambia project will replace and double the capacity of the NAWEC transformers and overhead electric cables. We will equip the police with modern apparatus and technical training in an effort to keep the streets of the Gambia safe. By building the largest international conference center in the region, a 5-star hotel with state-of-the-art facilities, first-class mobility services, and improving the VVIP experience at the Banjul International Airport, OIC Gambia will position the Gambia as the leading conference destination in West Africa. With our partners in the tourism sector, we will reinforce the preeminent position of our nation, the Smiling Coast, as a go-to destination. The OIC Gambia will create strategic partnerships that calls for the involvement of local talent and businesses as a matter of requirement. In short, OIC Gambia projects will create jobs, boost commerce, accelerate growth, improve the urban outlook and lifestyles of many families across the Gambia. So let's support the OIC Gambia as it prepares us for one of the biggest global events. OIC Gambia, building today for a better tomorrow.
Cheapest phone in the Gambia, Afriphone, is back in a brand new style. Africell, the biggest and the best GSM operator in the Gambia, is setting trends once again.
Get an Afriphone for $350 only and receive 1 hour of free talk time spread over 3 months.
$350 is only you can get a dual SIM phone with a wireless FM radio, memory card slot, internet access, long-lasting battery, and 1 hour of free talk time.
Where Africell goes, nobody dares to follow. Africell is setting trends once again. I'm sure you still love WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and Viber. Your favorite GSM operator, Africell, knows this. That's why you can now enjoy more at the same price. Activate the social media bundle and be online for 24 hours for $10 is only.
Hello! Activate the social media bundle for $10 is only